Let's talk about nutrition facts labels, but this time talking about how to compare different nutrition facts labels. So just to re-summarize, there are certain things on this label that you want to pay attention to, certain things that you want to limit, and some things that you can compare with one another and certain things that you can't. Like for example, comparing a piece of meat with a cereal probably wouldn't really give you the best comparison because you're going to find different things in those foods. I brought up these two examples because they're examples that I used to have when I was in school. So I went to the public health school system in New York City, and because breakfast and lunch takes a lot of time, money, energy, I ended up eating out of the schools. So what I would have in the morning is usually a bowl of cereal and some milk. And then for lunch, I would have something that looks pretty similar to this. And at the time, I wanted to make healthier decisions. So what I actually ended up doing was instead of choosing the whole milk, I switched to low-fat chocolate milk, thinking that it was a better choice. But let's see when we go through these examples. So, taking three kinds of cereals, Cheerios, Honey Bunches of Oats, and Captain Crunch's Crunch Berries, looking at these different nutrition facts labels, going from top to bottom, you're going to see differences in the kind of calories and nutrients that you might be getting. So, I think one thing to ask yourself is, what is the purpose? Like, why are you looking at these nutrition facts labels? So, for some people, it might be for weight management. Weight management. So, if it's for weight management, then you want to make sure that you're choosing, like, for example, if you wanted to gain weight, things that have the most calories. If you wanted to lose weight, something that has the least calories. If you wanted it for not just calories, but things like satiety or like how full you are or how much nutrient, like how dense is the food, how many nutrients does it have per calorie. Then you would be looking at something else. And then also figuring out what food group is this a part of. So food group, like what I said earlier, you wouldn't really compare a steak to a bowl of cereal. So right now we're looking at grains. So with grains, you're looking at specifically the carbohydrates and the quality of them that you're getting. So let's draw a scale here from least to most. And I'm going to call Cheerios C, Honey Bunches HB, and this CB. Okay, so going down the list, which has the most calories? But let's take a step back. One of the things you also have to keep in mind is the serving size. Is the serving size of each of these the same? Because if it's different, then you're going to have to multiply everything on that nutrition facts label by a certain number to make sure that it's consistent. So what you'll notice is that the Cheerios serving size is 1 cup. So what you would have to do is if you were comparing everything that was 3/4 cup, you would have to multiply everything in the Cheerios by 3/4. Okay, now we can move forward. So for the Cheerios, calories would be about 75, so 3/4 of 100, compared to 120 calories for the HB or Honey Bunches. For the Captain Crunch, you're having about 100. So that's why it's really important for knowing the serving size, because if you hadn't done that, you would have thought that Cheerios and the Crunch Berries would have the same amount of calories. So which has the most? Well, it sounds like maybe Honey Bunches has the most and Cheerios has the least for calories. Let's look at fiber. So for fiber, you're comparing 3 times 3 divided by 4, 9, 4, 2, like 2 and something, compared to, that's for the Cheerios, 2 grams for the Honey Bunches of Oats, and 1 gram per serving for the Crunch Berries. So for the most, it would be the Cheerios, and the least, it would be the Crunch Berries. And then finally, let's look at sugar because that's kind of the opposite of fiber. So for sugar, you're doing 3/4 of a gram per serving for the Cheerios, 6 grams for the Honey Bunches of Oats, and 11 grams for the Crunch Berries. So the one that has the most would be the Crunch Berries, and the one that has the least would be the Cheerios. So what are we looking for? What is the good, like, if, for example, we wanted to lose weight and also we wanted to have things that make us feel fuller for longer and have high quality nutrition for carbohydrates, it sounds like the Cheerios would check off on the calories, the Cheerios would check off on the fiber, and Cheerios would check off on having the least sugar. Now, does this mean that I recommend that you start with Cheerios? Well, there are things that you can do that kind of meet yourself in the middle. Sometimes people do switch over to Cheerios, but sometimes people don't think it tastes very good. So some people will do half and half. They'll do like half Cheerios and half Crunch Berries, or if they want to make it an even healthier option, they'll do Cheerios half and Honey Bunches of Oats half. So that half and half idea is a way of getting to a healthier place. And then next we'll talk about how to compare different milks.